the remarkable work of Pan American in developing air transport as a a means of linking the world, and the fact that the aircraft itself was so innovative and is entirely extinct in the world today, that there are no physical traces that remain, hardly at all. And so the opportunity to revisit it and learn from it, and just the draw of exploration, and of the being able to share the experience of investigating the past with everyone, was again just irresistible. And the partnership with Ocean Exploration Trust was just so natural. It had started because of their call for finding and identifying targets of high priority for exploration in the Eastern Pacific, and so it was entirely fitting that it be Nautilus that does conduct the investigation, the actual field work of searching for the aircraft, and then recruiting all the other groups was easy to do once they knew what we were attempting, what the goal that I'd set for Air Sea Heritage Foundation, that others joined in that readily and eagerly, from the University of Miami Library and the Pan Am collection there, and the Igor Sikorsky Historical Archive, and all the support they gave us, and the Pan Am Historical Foundation and Pan Am Museum Foundation, and just all the individuals and authors and historians who have given of themselves, and their knowledge and their expertise and their passion, has really brought it to made it possible to be here today, and have a chance to finally solve the last mysteries of what happened to Samoan Clipper, and bring recognition to that crew, and hopefully some sense of closure to the families of the men on board, and kind of the extended family of Pan American and just aviation industry as well. So.
And for people who are listening, who maybe don't necessarily have a background in sort of all of these different, disciplines, how does somebody get involved in this sort of work? Just out of, curiosity, or maybe a passion project? What would you recommend they do?
Yeah, I would say learn all you can. If some subject has captured your imagination, seek out that information. Read as much as you can, and also seek out other people who share your interest and your passions. So much of what I've learned, and so much of the opportunities that have come my way, have been through my associations with other people who share, and equally in that passion for history, or for maritime archaeology, or exploration, and it's opened incredible doors and opportunities, and seek out the groups that are doing the work that you find compelling yourself, and see if if there's a way in to get involved. I know Ocean Exploration Trust has incredible educational opportunities, and opportunities for internships, and for learning and outreach. And so I believe there's members of this crew right now who started with OET as interns, as wanting to find a way to join in the exploration of the sea, and applied and we're able to join the Corps of Exploration and be a part of it.
That is so true, and and it, like we've said it 100 times, and we'll say it 100 times more. We all come from these very diverse backgrounds. I am a journalist in my my land job, and we have teachers and biologists and engineers and videographers. There's all kinds of backgrounds on this vessel that really is what kind of pulls it all together, because even just looking at our quad, we have so many disciplines right there, right? We have this technology using side scan sonar, and then we have pilots who are operating the Argus, and then we have video engineers who are making sure that we can see clearly what's down below, and then we have navigation systems, and it really, I guess it lends to that idea that anyone can kind of hop on board, and whether that's virtually or in person, right, and kind of join in this exciting work. For those of you that have just joined and ask, what are we doing? I'll give you a quick update. We are on line 4 of the original search plan. So where we're going from here is we'll scan the rest of this one, and then the remaining 3 in this southerly part of the survey area. And then the plan is to transit back to the northern part of the survey and then pass over a couple of the targets that are of particular interest using Argus. So Argus obviously is equipped with our video camera here, so we'll use that to sort of get eyes on these potential targets to see what exactly they might be, and determining whether they are indeed part of an aircraft of the Samoan Clipper, or if they are just geological or natural features. And then once we do that, we will eventually send Hercules back down there to get even more information, a better picture of what exactly is down there, and then to sort of paint the picture of everything, all of the work that we've done over these last couple of days, and mapping it all together. So we have marked 44 potential targets, and those are sort of characterized by these brighter yellow colorings, maybe with shadows around them, which indicate that they are rising from the seafloor. And then, of course, we're looking for those straighter lines, those right angles, those sort of shapes that aren't necessarily seen in the natural world. And so those have helped our sonar team and our data logging team to be able to differentiate between, these sort of basalt and carbonate rocks that we're seeing, surrounded by this muddy seafloor. And then in the bottom left quadrant, you're looking at a nautical chart that shows the bathymetry of the seafloor, and then also you can see the chart layout. So that survey area, those grids, we've been operating at this lawnmower style pattern, and that bright green line is Argus coming behind the ship. So you can see how we've sort of been chugging along in this lawnmower style of surveying the bottom of the ocean. We've averaged it out. It takes about 2 hours to complete each line. So like I said, we have the rest of the fourth line and then the 3 remaining after that. TD, when we're looking at this, the sonar data, you said that the sort of top level and then the bottom level are different frequencies. Are those frequencies audible to human ears?
You can hear when the sonar is out of the water and you turn it on, there's a clicking that you hear. Mm-hmm. So that's, the acoustic sound that's coming out. In the water, it would be emitting that similar sound. So you can actually hear the sonar doing its thing out of the water.
Oh, wow. That's super
it's sort of just like, not really necessarily a high pitched. It's just, a click, like a clicking noise.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's sort of how dolphins hear, right? They click out.
Yeah.
Using that echolocation. Is it a similar concept, kind of?
Yeah, definitely a similar concept. They're using sound waves to have those broadcast out and bounce off their environment to bring back information that they need for hunting and survival. Also, bats do the same thing for echolocation in the dark. They use sound since they're flying around in those caves. That sound is what they rely on to fly around in those small caves.
All bats but flying foxes.
Ah, yes, yes. We can relive that tonight.
Yeah. Or not. I'm okay not reliving that.
I did not know that. So a flying bat is considered a bird, not a bat.
Oh, the flying foxes are?
Flying foxes. Isn't that what you were saying, or are they a bat?
I believe they're still a bat.
Okay.
Based
okay.
on what I read. I could be wrong, but they are the largest of the bats.
Okay.
Yeah. And they eat fruit, which is really interesting.
I did not do my homework, so I will Google that during lunch.
Yeah, and please correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
They are bats. I looked it up
Okay.
yesterday.
You did?
Mhm.
What did you think about them? It's pretty wild, right?
They look very scary.
Yeah. They're totally bizarre. I think what is their wingspan, like 4 feet, up to 4 feet? Pretty wild.
Yeah. They're pretty big.
Yeah. What?
And these are creatures that are native to American Samoa that were spotted by some of our crew in our brief visit there before we sailed. So.
Yeah, pretty wild. And they don't use echolocation, which is really interesting. They actually have great eyesight. And so when we saw them, it was right around dusk, so they can come out, you know. It doesn't have to be necessarily dark for them to come out. Pretty interesting. All the things you learn while at sea or at port. Ed, did you see the flying foxes?
Yeah, sure did. Yeah.
Have you seen them before?
Yes.
You have? Okay.
Yeah.
They're pretty wild.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely Wizard of Oz-ish.
Yeah, that's like the
Flying monkeys.
Yes, that's exactly what they reminded me of. Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have nightmares.
Oh,
Thanks a
that's so
lot.
cool.
Yeah. Well, the flying monkeys. I don't know. Wizard of Oz kind of gave me some childhood trauma.
Really?
Yeah, it
Huh.
scared me. It was a scary one. That and Mars Attacks.
That film?
Yeah.
I love that film.
I watched it when I was way too young, I think.
It made you realize how conditioned you are that the big star always survives the movie.
Yeah, right.
Because they send like Michael J. Fox to talk to the aliens,
Yeah.
and they open up the door of the spaceship and just kill him immediately.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spoiler alert.
Well, when did that film come out? 90?
Yeah.
No,
mid-90s?
95.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Although
a good one.
our other Argus pilot, Summer,
Mhm.
just watched Star Wars.
What?
Like the Star Wars. Like episode 4, the first Star Wars film.
What? For the
Just
first time
For
ever?
the first time ever. But here's the funny thing, speaking of spoiler alert, she has seen Spaceballs.
Okay.
So she's still a little confused about the whole I am your thing from, yeah.
I've seen Spaceballs. I've not seen any of the Star Wars movies.
Any of the Star Wars?
Soon,
Should I just jump overboard?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Star Wars is a total rip-off of Spaceballs.
Have you guys seen the newer episodes?
No,
Yeah.
I'm so far behind. I don't watch any media. It's like so little time on land. I'm just media deprived.
That's not a bad problem to have.
I'll bet 70% of the media I've seen this year has been on planes.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I feel like they generally have a pretty good selection though.
I bring my Netflix downloaded.
Oh, do you?
Ding. Yeah. I hate the idea of binge watching something until I'm in 54 Bravo. Then it makes a lot more sense.
Oh, I am a sucker for binge watching. That's the only kind of watching I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like
You know what's funny is even like when my wife and I would watch like a weekly show like The Sopranos.
yeah,
Sometimes our schedule didn't allow us to watch an entire episode even.
right.
And so we would pause it. And then we'd have a couple days. And we would talk about what's going on in the episode. Where do you think this is going? And
sort
follow
of
the plot line.
decompress together.
Yeah, and you have a little more cerebral viewing
Yeah.
experience maybe.
Okay.
So I think binge watching is just getting us closer to the Wall-E dystopian future.
You know, it's
a little hedonistic.
Yeah, yeah. I want it all now.
I want it. Well,
It's who's Veruca Salt
yes.
from
Willy Wonka. Yep,
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I want it now. Well, but
Not the band.
Yeah.
The character. Yeah.
but it does change too. Like, I don't have cable. I haven't had cable since I was,
Yeah.
a kid probably. So or
You
a
had RatNet.
teenager. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Use
like,
that reference somewhere else.
our viewing patterns,
Which
have
is
changed.
now slated for all Alaskan public television is on the chopping block right now. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some interesting politics going on in Alaska.
Yeah, yeah. There's always interesting in
Yeah.
Alaska.
My grandma sent me an email telling me all about it. If you're
Nice.
listening, hi, Grandma.
Where's Grandma live? Still.
She's in Juneau. Yep,
Oh,
my
nice.
grandfather. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Juneau's a great town.
Yeah, Juneau's cool. It's super fun. Not as cool as Sitka, but
Right. What about Skagway?
I've never actually been to Skagway.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, I know. It's one of the few places I haven't. I've heard it's beautiful. Gateway to the Yukon.
Yeah. What's the town? We used to only be able to get there by train. Now you can drive there.
Is it?
From Anchorage, you go down Turnagain Arm, past Girdwood.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the town lives in one building, or they used to.
I mean, there's a
It's
lot
on
of those.
Prince William Sound.
Okay.
It's a giant, 12-story apartment building.
It's not.
Somebody's gonna write in because I
Yeah.
can't believe
I hope
forgetting the
someone-
name of this town.
I don't know what it is. I could just start naming towns
So it
in
used
that
to
area.
be. Oh, time.
Time. Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue. and I guess we'll just have to come back to it.
We were just talking about how Star Wars ends. Yeah, right. Just be quiet till we get to port.
All right. Well,
Not Girdwood. Man.
it's not like Hope, is it?
No, Hope's on the
It's too
Kenai
far.
Peninsula.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a buddy of mine, his dad was the preacher and the mayor in Hope for a
Really?
long time. Yeah,
Really?
Rick Gay.
Oh, interesting. My dad was the mayor of Sitka.
Oh, that's funny. Everybody ends up being mayor of Sitka.
Yeah.
Stay there long
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. It was an interesting high school experience.
I hated going to Hope because you would be 10 minutes outside of Anchorage and you would see Hope.
Yeah.
And you're like, we're going to be at that town in 2.5 hours.
You mean you'd see? Yeah. Yeah.
You'd see it on the other side of
Yeah.
the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
That Turnagain Arm drive is pretty incredible too.
Yeah.
Have you seen the videos of people surfing the Boar Tide?
Yeah, I haven't seen people out there because when we were up there had just been a really tragic accident around that tide coming in so quickly. So people were very wary.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go eat some lunch.
delicious lunch.
Oh,
Fantastic lunch.
Don't tell me. I don't want a spoiler.
Well, I will tell you to save some room for what's at the very end.
Okay.
Or at least look that way and see if it's to your liking.
All right. Noted. Enjoy, everyone.
All right.
See ya.
Morning.
Morning.
I tried to delay Trevor as long as possible with small technical talk, and he like standing on one foot, standing on the other one. Finally, he just goes. I know it's a mean thing to do to someone who's been on shift for 4 hours. I can't resist sometimes.
This is an audio slate for Argus Dive Romeo 1056. UTC time is 230130. Mark.
Did you just do that right, meow?
Yeah,
Right
I
meow?
did. Yeah. I thought meow would be a good time to do it.
Now you're talking.
Meow, why would I do that? Did you guys have any of the snozberries for lunch?
So good. Couldn't get enough.
They tasted like snozberries.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Something's goofy on the Edge Tech back row on that. There we go. Now we're
Nice.
healthy again.
I liked it better the other way.
Holothurian spot.
Peyton, I hate to burst your bubble, but our previous watch wasn't counting them.
Oh, absolutely killing me here, Ed.
You'll have to watch the video and review.
Yeah, I can get you the files.
I can't wait to go through
You have a 2-day port call.
8 hours of video and then count every single Holothurian that shows
That's
up.
easy.
It's exactly what our last co-chief scientist did. He had
Oh, really?
around 10,000 hours of reviewing ROV video.
That's
One
not-
of our partner or affiliate and another organization that does ocean research and science, they have loggers that they log after the fact. So loggers view every frame of the footage they capture after the expedition.
How long does it take to train up loggers? I mean, they're used to working out in the forest.
About 10
Yeah.
minutes.
You know how long it takes them to log an entire expedition? 2.
Two.
Yeah, too long.
That was a flop.
It's been many a PhD
Airplane.
on ROV video.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if they're listening to the audio too, and I just tell them, so they have this weird existential moment. Hey, if you're a grad student reviewing this right now.
Oh, really? Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for you, son.
Yeah.
Lonnie, Steve Nagowitz says hi. He knows you from the Explorers Club. No, he's on the chat.
Ready for some real music today?
Go for it.
You're on SPO.
Sorry.
All good.
No, I worked that out where
There you go. Yeah, you don't have to force talk me. I can listen to you as I need to.
You only have to.
What?
I can't wait till we get an Alexa in here. Alexa, I want to listen to video.
Alexa, find the Samoan Clipper.
It's pretty good.
All right, we're on line 4.
Oops, sorry.
I'm not quite sure of what our northernmost line was, though. 15, perhaps.
20, I thought we had 20 lines in all.
Yeah, I just mean the northernmost line that we actually have mapped so far.
Oh, I got you.
I think may have been 15.
Looks
Okay.
like it.
So we've been at it so long, the ship track is starting to disappear. So
How many lines have we completed?
but you have record of that data?
I can count.
I think we're at,
Give me a sec.
on our watch we were at 9, so would
Yeah.
we be like 10 and a half, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16?
Yeah. I think we did all of these, and then this turn here down the south. It's hard to say. Whatever the highest number is, there were no gaps in our northward line. So whatever the highest number is that you have recorded.
I think we're at 12 lines.
Yeah.
Highest number I have recorded.
We're on the 12th line.
Yes.
Yes, that appears to be what is happening.
Yeah, the highest line I have recorded here is 15.
15, yeah, okay. Sounds good.
3 more left in our southern half. We're making progress.
We'll just pass that along in case they decide to go north. That way the data seat knows which line to go to. 16.
Hello to our viewers out there. We are continuing our search for the Samoan Clipper. It is just slightly after noon time in American Samoa.
Brian, can you put your mouth?
How about now?
Yep.
That's good.
Wonderful. So we're just about 8 minutes after noon in Samoa, American Samoa time. And we are continuing on our passes across the search area. We have a 2 square mile search area that we're continuing to tow Argus behind us, so it's going to look a bit different than what you would usually see with a Nautilus dive if you expect to see Hercules. We're continuing to take a look for any dive targets and use Argus' side scan sonar to find the best possible spots for us to continue our search. Dr. Megan, we have a request to maybe show in one of the dive targets how those might look different than rocks, if that's possible.
Sure. Let me pull up one. Let's pull up this one. So what you're looking at on the screen now is something that we've marked as a target simply because it has some straight lines to it. It has this thing going on over here, and then it has an interesting shadow. Plus it was all by itself in an area where there wasn't anything else. So it could be rock, could be something else. Let's look at another one. This is sort of thing that we're also looking at too, just things that look different and to use a very technical term again, things that look really strange, really weird. We poke those out as targets and have our experts look over them. What was the Peapod target, Peyton? No, that wasn't.
Ooh, I'm going to say that was high 20s.
No, it was on our last watch. Peapod. Peapod Blobby. 35.
Oh, that was off.
So this this thing. So when we take a sonar, or excuse me, a sonar target snapshot, it only gives you a little bit of the area. Plus, it shrinks it down. And so this was actually elongated just a little bit, but this shape went up here and then also down here and looked like this with this really weird thing in the middle. Basically, this is unlike anything that we've seen out here, so we marked it as a target, called it a Peapod, which made Peter Fix from Texas A&M's Conservation Research Lab kind of miffed. Hi, Peter. So that's the sort of thing that we've been looking at.
Doesn't Texas A&M must have a big interest, or they're active in marine archaeology, yeah?
Texas A&M has the nautical archaeology program, which I got my PhD in, so I'm a little bit biased, but I think that it's probably recognized as one of the better, if not the best, maritime archaeology programs in the United States and or the world.
I think they got my jar of ginger from the Monterey A shipwreck.
They did get that, actually. They got all of the items from the Monterey shipwreck to conserve, and I was at the Inner Space Center for that wreck, logging in.
I was on a different vessel when we found that wreck.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I had just gotten off the ship.
Oh, no.
That's how it goes.
Such a cool wreck.
I was with Susan Langley, who's an archaeologist up in New England, and we were at the ISC past closing hours with like bags of candy. And of course, you know, you can choose whether or not everybody else can hear you. So we were just sort of yelling at the screen, just full delirium mode. It was really fun.
It's funny anytime we are exploring a shipwreck, there's just, there's the captain the other day was talking about maritime traditions. You never whistle on a boat, etc.
Yes.
Everything when you image a boat, a shipwreck, however you're imaging it, even with video, looks like a cannon.
Oh.
You see cannons everywhere.
Yeah.
And so you're just prohibited from saying that word.
Oh.
But on that shipwreck, it's like, I know what I'm looking at. I mean, it's clear as day. They're stacked up right there in front of us. But you just never say it because then it's going to turn out to be a pipe that fell over.
On that shipwreck,
it
was really interesting to watch them go through the process of building specialized boxes to do some of the recoveries, and especially for the muskets. So they found what was what used to be probably a box full of muskets, but was now just the musket pieces. Some of the I actually think that there was still some of the wood down there, but probably not. But just musket pieces, and they had to lift each one carefully because they were stacked on top of each other, and then put it in a specialized bio box to then send to the surface. That was really interesting. And
just for super short background, we're talking about a shipwreck found in the Gulf of Mexico, 2012-13 range, I think. That's believed to be probably the oldest shipwreck in the Gulf of Mexico, dating from the late 1790s to the early 1800s.
Wow, that's awesome.
And now the full story is we've found 2 accompanying wrecks of similar vessels in very close proximity. This one had a lot of super high value items on it, including a chronograph that would only be associated with people and looking glass. And you would never leave these things behind or put them on a vessel without people, so we assume this was a manned vessel. And there were 2 other vessels that were just loaded to the gills with high-value things like furs and pelts, but not a lot of accommodations or china or anything. So it's thought that this was privateers who had taken some bounty and were going somewhere when they all got hit, likely by a storm or something.
Right.
What depth of water was it in?
Man, 1800?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Pretty
so
deep.
all that stuff's pretty preserved.
Yeah, it was.
There was some growth on like some stuff. The weird thing is the glassware.
Yeah.
Like there was specifically a jar of what looked like peaches to us, but I think it was pickled ginger is what they found out. It was ginger. That looked like you had just pulled it off the supermarket shelf.
Yeah, definitely.
So even the furs were preserved?
No, they were a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a
copper-clad
ship
with Roman numeral draft marks.
Yes.
Huh. So would it have been, like the privateers you said that they thought it was?
It wasn't a named vessel, but they think these are guys who are going around hijacking other commercial cargo.
Pirates.
Yeah, or
Yep.
privateers, yeah.
Privateers
Have
because they
you,
were
Megan,
contract.
The
have
more
you done much like archaeology on like Blackbeard stuff? I mean, I'm sure that's been done.
No, you know, because
Pirate ships.
I specialize almost exclusively in aircraft, so I don't really get that far back. When I was doing this Monterey ship, I was still a PhD student, and so I was sort of getting all the experience I could in telepresence. But now that I've graduated, I think I pretty much specialize almost in aviation, and so I don't do very much pirate stuff, but I think it's really cool.
I went to Morehead City in North Carolina, and they have a really good like Battle of the Atlantic for the subs, and then they have a really cool like display also of all the Blackbeard stuff. And they have like real stuff from a ship, and they have like also models of how like the whole archaeology, like how all the divers like laid out the field and like sectioned it off and how they recovered
the
things.
grids and
Yeah, it was really awesome to see. It's a cool museum.
That is cool.
There's a lot of great shipwrecks out at the Outer Banks.
Yeah. They didn't know about they didn't have the charts for the waters, obviously, and all the shifting sandbars. And they found them out real fast for the last time.
Yeah, every time a hurricane goes through, it rearranges quite a bit.
I've seen that in New Jersey where, frequently over the winter though, but you know, the beach close to your beach house, there's like 15 steps down to the beach. And the next year there's one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they get all those nor'eastern storms.
Where'd that come from?
Nail the coast. Yeah. It's just around. They're having a lot of erosion problems up in those, like, off Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard when they get those big storms. Like, multi-million-dollar houses are on the cliffs now.
Don't buy coastal property.
We still 10 up?
Rennie, why do
20,
we see little
19.
wispies in the bottom one, but not the top one in the nadir over to the port side?
I'm not entirely sure. Usually it indicates that there's something below.
Well, and that's what I was looking at our screen too, and I couldn't see any.
I didn't see anything there.
No, okay. Just curious.
And it could just be the different frequencies, whether or not it's picked up. But I didn't really see anything.
I didn't see anything.
Could have been just out of view, but probably not. It should still be visible.
Now we're 15 up.
Paige, and I'm sure you're interested in biology, and this is an interesting leg as we conduct this amazing search. But it's a bit like looking at a kernel of popcorn from a football field away.
Yeah.
And I assure you that next leg you're going to have your face in the buffet.
It's still very exciting to try and interpret what we're seeing on the sonar, though. Like can you pull up number 23?
Number 23.
Because some of these it's very difficult to look at it as an outsider to sonar and come up with an explanation.
Oh,
I
the
think
electricity monster.
Yeah, we wrote as electric alien monster, just because
alien monster
it has this very organic shape.
Molar.
Yeah, and it has no shadow, which is really interesting.
Transformers.
Yeah. I see him as being on his side. Like, that's the guy, and then he has a pitchfork or something, and he's all in electricity.
That's exactly what I saw.
Yes!
I saw the molar.
No, I saw, electric alien pitchfork man. That one's cool. I like that one.
It's pretty good.
Those of you watching, continue to send in any questions you might have. We are eager to share what we have going on or any information that you might be interested in. And hello to Heather and Tim.
Hello, Heather and Tim. Thanks for watching. It makes me feel warm and comfy.
The control van doesn't?
No.
It's so warm in here.
It is actually warm in here. So last time when I was on, I was absolutely frozen the entire time. This was in 2015 for the USS Macon. And this time, so I brought all of my stuff, all of my gear.
Yeah.
And I'm actually super warm. I've been super warm the entire time. Only maybe at about 3 o'clock in the morning, right when we're about to go up, then I start to get a little chilly.
Yeah, part of it's where we are in the world.
Oh, okay.
But also, the idea of it is we want to keep the computers cold. But the people happen to get cold in a little bit of crossfire.
I was very prepared to be cold, but definitely not this time.
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely colder
Tragically
at
not.
night.
Ed was talking a little bit about scale on the seafloor, and I keep looking at our wire cam feed, which is just a camera that's looking at the cable that's dangling Argus off the side. And really, when you start to think about scale in that way, what on deck seems like really heavy-duty kind of equipment, and just you think about how thin this little tiny string is.
Yeah.
That's dangling down 3,000 meters and being dragged behind the ship 500 meters away, and it's
That might be the heaviest thing that we have in the water is the wire.
yeah, could be. Not sure how much pounds per meter.
I
that
don't know.
thing
I
is.
assume they took the weight cans off of Argus.
Negative.
Oh, they're still in there?
Yeah, they're still there.
I guess it'd be difficult to get those off of there.
That wire ain't seeing nothing. It's we have the same 6/8 cable hooked to one of the other kids with a instrument platform underneath it.
Yeah, yeah.
Launching off the Tully. I thought it was going to rip the shiv wheel off the A-frame.
Yeah.
It was so hard. Your fillings were coming loose in your teeth. And I'm actually kind of thankful we didn't have a load cell on the overboarding sheave, because it would have
Then
been
you'd know.
freaking
Ignorance
out.
is bliss at that point.
What you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, it was some really hard snaps. I'm surprised the lights stayed on the ROV. I was fully expecting them to go out.
Squinch, yeah.
This is a really weird waterfall where we're seeing like all these rocks on the starboard side and then nothing.
Yeah, it might be
On the
uphill on
port
one
side.
side, uphill to starboard, downhill to port.
Huh.
You can get
I
a
don't know.
sense
I
of
think
that
it's the
from the
opposite.
Is it the
Mesotech.
inverse?
Yeah.
Our forward-looking sonar there has a little more
Yeah,
returns on the port side than it does the starboard side.
it's uphill. We're seeing some in visual.
Yeah, I see those rocks now.
So, Doctor, we have a question coming in about, out of all the targets we've seen so far, is there one that you are most pumped about? Going back and checking out.
Target 19,
Kayak?
which is the kayak. Yep. And I think actually, so I was just talking with one of our other archaeologists on board, Dee Marks from Search, right at the watch change, and she said that that was the one that she was the most excited about too, was the kayak.
Nice. I'm pretty pumped to check that out. That was
Yeah.
at the start of our shift at this time yesterday?
It was, yes, absolutely. So we claim it.
Yes.
It is ours. Yeah.
Best watch.
Yep. Hashtag best watch.
So after we finish these next 3 lines on the southern half of the search area, are we going to continue back to the top half to finish, or is that still kind of up in the air? Or, I guess, water column?
We're definitely going to go up to the top half to finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm probably starting from the center and working our way out. I'm guessing.
I would
Could be a good
imagine
guess.
so, yeah.
The higher probability lines first. Still stand by my analogy that this is like Christmas Eve, but you don't know when Christmas is.
That's a good analogy. We have some requests from viewers since we mentioned the kayak image to...
Oh, sorry. You want me to show it? I should have done that.
Oh, it's totally fine.
All right, everybody, get ready.
Is this 19?
Yeah.
18?
There's our
Or
kayak.
19,
Enter
yeah.
the kayak.
So what we're looking at is this horizontal shape. So the nadir, which is the black bit that you can see on the screen, would have been over here. So this was to our port side. And we're really looking at this sort of shadow shape within a geometric shape that frankly looks kind of odd. This doesn't look like the rocks that we were seeing. This is probably an artifact of just the heave motion that we're
Just
seeing.
some noise from
Yeah, noise.
So it's a long track, which has me a bit skeptical.
Yes, yeah.
And it's also correlated with the heave. You can see the darkness and the lightness on the left side and where that changes.
Yep.
So I think that in post-processing it'll look quite different, and we'll see about what it ends up, how the shape changes.
And I agree with you on that, and I also think too, because you can't see it in the picture, but also up on this line we saw a couple more things up here that look similar as well. So yeah, I agree with you.
It's still interesting looking.
Interesting looking.
Right.
Yeah. And you know, some of these targets that we go over, we see something that looks extremely similar in every single line. And even then we still mark it as a target, but we still haven't seen anything that looked remotely like that.
Right,
which
yeah,
makes it very interesting.
That one is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Target coming up in meso.
Nice when we get to the point where we can also, while we're still doing lines, deploy a AUV to go and get more data on previously imaged targets.
Or have it map a whole separate area, then we can.
Yeah, have it doing the north while we're doing the south or something.
We have the AUV come on for our next leg. We have the AUV coming on for our next leg, correct?
I don't know. Don't know.
Brian, have we got any questions yet?
I'm intently watching this meso to, come on, I want to see what you are.
Lonnie, do we want to just give an overview?
Got to do some work with the AUV Sentry from Woods Hole. That's a very capable AUV because it can go, it's not just propelling like a torpedo and using a small air capsule for buoyancy to control depth. It has thrusters that can move it up and down. So it can work in steeper terrain.
Okay.
And it can do side scan. It can do photo mosaics. It can do mapping.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's from the Deep Submergence Lab at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution. She's not listening.
She's shaking her head.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you in the back row were watching the mesotech sonar when that.
Yes.
So you saw that. That's probably an accurate depiction of the shape as it was coming, and then that's what the sonar.
Oh,
That's what the side scan looks like. Yeah. Because of our speed and the ping rate of the side scan and the heave and all that. So that's what that smear looks like.
Yes.
But when we were passing it, it was kind of just like an oval, like a rock.
Right, like a rock.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's an idea of how much something gets stretched out.
Yep. That's what I was thinking, but it's nice to have it kind of confirmed.
Yeah.
So from the back row of the control van, I just have to say it's like Times Square back here. There are about 25 different images on the screens to take in, but this is the noon to 4 p.m. and midnight to 4 a.m. watch. We're now in the afternoon part of our watch, and we are on the Samoan Clipper project looking for an S-42B flying clipper that disappeared January 11th, 1938 with Captain Edwin Music at the controls with his 6 crew members. And this is very important to the history of aviation. Pan Am was trying to connect the world with these transoceanic flights. And their loss was of significance to Pan Am aviation and the flying clippers. This particular plane was on flight labeled A5. Its route was Honolulu to Kingman Reef to Pongo Pongo to Auckland, New Zealand. They had already made 2 round trips. This was the first leg of the 3rd trip, and upon takeoff, shortly after takeoff, about half an hour after takeoff on the morning of January 11th, 1938, they noted an oil leak in engine number 4 and shut down that engine and radioed back that they were going to go out of radio contact because they were going to start dumping fuel in preparation for coming back to Pongo Pongo to land. The harbor at Pongo Pongo is extremely challenging. It's a boot-shaped harbor. The tow part of the boot is the landing area, and it's only 1/4 of a mile by 2 miles long, hemmed in by mountains. So they had to come over an 800-foot ridge, dive to the water to land, and the experienced pilots that would fly in this plane said it was like trying to land in a well. It was a white-knuckle landing. And so you can see why it was necessary for them to dump fuel. They were heavily loaded when they left with 2,300 gallons of fuel, and no way they could land with that. So about a little time later, they were sighted over Apia, and Edwin Music had said he wanted to go over there in any case to scout it out for perhaps a future landing site. Interrupt anytime you.
No, I'm fine. You're fine.
You need to. So that was at about 7:59 when the radio resumed. They were over Apia. The last commo was logged at 8:27. They were still dumping fuel. And at 8:35, all contact was lost. Music wanted the airport manager to send out an REM, which is a returning account of mechanical trouble, advising a 24-hour delay. But the manager said he wanted to wait until the plane landed, which it never did. Shortly after 8:35, they were flying westward offshore of Fogassa Bay and made a wide circle to the northward away from the land and still dumping fuel from both wings. And an eyewitness saw what she thought was smoke coming from the wings, but it was actually the vapors of the fuel. And she saw the plane descend abruptly to the water, flash of fire and black smoke, and a detonation. And the wings appeared visible for about 5 minutes. When smoke was reported, a Navy plane came out of Grummanduck from the USS Avocet from Pongo Pongo Harbor, flew out and saw that there was an oil